Aren't you looking sharp today? Welcome back to another marvelous video. Today's subject is Optimus Primal from the great lore of Transformers. Now, some casual fans might chuckle, thinking there's a mix-up with Optimus Prime's name. Well, no, we are not talking about the iconic leader of the Autobots today. We are going to take a look at the character bio of the main protagonist of the Beast Wars series. That's right. So grab your snacks and your favorite Transformers toys as we take you on a fascinating ride into the world of Transformers Beast Wars. But before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Maximize!
Optimus Primal origins from Beast Wars cartoon continuity. Before making his debut on the big screen last year in the movie Transformers Rise of the Beasts, Optimus Primal made his first appearance in the Beast Wars toy line and cartoon series way back in 1996. That's right, you probably weren't even born then. Not you, sir. I'm talking to this kid. Anyway, when we first encounter Optimus Primal, he is in command of the research ship Axelon. There's news that the Golden Disc and a spacecraft with transwarp capabilities have been taken by the infamous Predacon renegade Megatron and his group. The Axelon is sent to face them since it's the nearest ship with transwarp drive. Primal bravely pursues the Predacons across a transwarp vortex and emerges over an enigmatic planet. However, in the subsequent space fight, both spacecraft sustain significant damage. Primal acts decisively when he sees that a collision is about to occur, giving the command to send his crew's hibernation pods into orbit so they won't crash onto the planet's surface. The planet was overcharged with energon, and stationary residence, more than a short time, would ultimately leave severe effects on their robotic modules. The Predacons and Maximals had no other option but to resemble the local fauna by transforming into biological species of that world. Primal decided to follow the example and transformed into a mighty-looking silverback gorilla. Primal opened his eyes and found his new shape captivating as he stepped out of the cryogenic restoration chamber. At their first confrontation with the Predacons, Optimus ordered Rat Trap to assist and overwhelm Cheetor. However, Rat Trap disobeyed the order, and Optimus had no choice but to save Cheetor by himself. Upon their return to base, Optimus was challenged to a duel by the dissident Predacon Dinobot, who desired command of the Maximals. Despite unsuccessful attempts at persuading, Optimus grudgingly engaged Dinobot in a fight. As the battle progressed, more Predacons took advantage of the chance to strike, with a desire to eliminate both of them, prompting Optimus to prioritize saving Dinobot from a dangerous fall. Dinobot subsequently returned this favor during a furious fight atop a mountain, stopping Megatron's missile aiming at Optimus. Despite the explosion that destroyed the Energon storage, everyone managed to survive. Optimus grabbed the opportunity to announce the start of what would become known as the Beast Wars. Optimus's patience was often tested by his team's attitude, such as when Cheetor's reckless move cost them an experimental communications link. When Optimus asked where Cheetor was, the others interfered to protect the young Maximal when he went out alone to make things right. This prompted Optimus wanting to equip Cheetor's missions with tracking devices, but Cheetor ignored the order again. When a flash of lightning created a two-way teleporting bridge between the Maximal and Predacon fortresses, Dinobot convinced Optimus to send a bomb through the link, but Optimus wanted to include a timer so the Predacons could have plenty of time to flee. Cheetor found a shared energon vein between the two bases and raced to disarm the bomb before it was too late. Fortunately, he was successful. Anyway, he got an earful from Optimus, to which he was unbothered. After a battle at the Standing Stones that accidentally fired a cosmic signal into space, Optimus was sucked up by an alien probe. As he lay in a cell, Optimus still had his wits about him and was able to call the Axelon, ending once and for all the squabbling of the Maximals about who should be their new leader. Optimus took a surprise vote, making Rat Trap the new leader. I bet you didn't see that coming. Rhinox tried his best to create a device to free Primal, but Waspinator got in the way and freed Optimus from the probe. In the following scene, Optimus commended Rat Trap on his leadership abilities while he was away. Pterosaur's discovery of a floating mountain loaded with energon brought Optimus face to face with the supercharged Predacons. In one hard-fought skirmish, Optimus was all but taken out until Pterosaur had to recharge, which bought him a little time. Once Rat Trap's bombs destroyed the mountain, Optimus saved them in time. When the first stasis capsule crashed, Optimus, as the only airborne Maximal, sprang to investigate. When he left Axelon, he was surprised by Waspinator and Pterosaur, who ambushed him and dealt much damage. Dinobot fled into a CR chamber, eventually allowing him to connect with Optimus's conscious mind and create a laser contact with Primal's surveillance. Through a subsequent Predacon assault stunned Dinobot, Optimus used the laser link to contact the stasis pod and trigger the reformatting of the protoform inside. Restored, Optimus rejoined the battle, eagerly greeting the newly formed Maximal Tigatron into his squad. While in the middle of the specimen collecting expedition, Optimus and Dinobot were attacked by Scorponok, who was able to attach a cyber bee to Optimus before he retreated. This evil cyber bee infected Optimus with a virus designed to cause timidity, but it actually stirred a berserker wrath in him. Rhinox's investigation seemed to support the fact that removing the cyber bee would be lethal to Optimus and possibly end up in an explosion. Realizing the threat he posed, Optimus ordered his own imprisonment, but his tactical brain never stopped thinking. He devised an excellent plan to counter the Predacons and told Cheetor to free him. He came out of the Axelon and proceeded directly to the Predacon base with a wrathful fury. He destroyed the rest of the Predacons and made his way to Megatron. After a short skirmish, Megatron was finally fixed with the cyber bee attached to his own back. Luckily, Cheetor arrived in time to hand the antiviral over to Optimus and save him, and Megatron and Scorponok were left to suffer the consequences of the cyber bee's blast. In an attempt to reach the Maximal temporal probe, which was passing by, Optimus was captured by Tarantula's transformation lock lens and incapacitated in beast mode. Riding on this moment, Megatron attempted to kill Optimus but was saved by Rhinox's timely intervention. As a result, Optimus remained resolute in his quest to input the code necessary to send out the transwarp probe, but it was not meant to be, as the Predacons had finally succeeded in destroying the communications array, and the Maximal's last chance at rescue was now lost forever. In another event, Optimus bravely attempted to rescue Tigatron, who was attacked while trying to radio the base. Upon arriving at the scene, though, he found that Tigatron had disappeared. Soon after, the Maximals received a cyber bee containing a modified Tigatron message, reporting that he had discovered a floating island. Optimus, in order to investigate, headed straight to the island with the help of Rat Trap on his back, where he found Pterosaur and Waspinator in his path. When the Maximals got to the island, they got the chance to rush to the front and see Black Arachnia, which they did, only to find out that she had already taken control of the island's command center. Fortunately, Tigatron's bold move to blow up the island's source of power managed to save the Axelon and the Maximals from very nearly being wiped out. In between the war, the Predacon called Inferno notified that the alien race called Vok was arriving soon. As a result, Megatron requested a little truce with their enemies, to which Primal grudgingly consented. Upset by growing curiosity about Megatron's intentions, Optimus devised a scheme for Tigatron to sneak into the Predacon camp in search of the truth. Their inquiry took an unexpected turn as they discovered the aliens were almost there. Soon, Primal was kidnapped and tortured while investigating the newly created Vok base by the alien people, who seemed to appear as Unicrons. They menacingly let out that their motive was to sterilize the world, whatever that meant. Following the narrow escape from the Vok base, Primal found himself at the Axelon, where he learned that the Tarantulas and Black Arachnia had taken over the building. The evil duo had managed to turn a space stasis capsule into an escape vehicle, intending to leave the planet before the onslaught onslaught of destruction. Despite the protests of his crew, Primal decided to take the plunge and attack the planet's second moon, now a deadly planet buster. The idea was to strike with the ship, then blast the transwarp cell aboard from a distance after ejecting safely. But Megatron took the ship from a distance, so Primal could not escape. Trapped inside the ship, he heard the abuse that Megatron rained down on him as he fought desperately in a doomed attempt to avoid the inevitable. The explosion annihilated the ship, the planet buster, and Primal, reducing them all to cosmic garbage. Primal's adventure had his spark enter the Matrix, where it remained until Rhinox found it and returned it to a virgin protoform, forging a new transmetal body for Primal. Now revitalized and equipped for revenge, Primal would change into a metallic gorilla adorned with a third form, a gorilla riding a hoverboard. This new, powerful upgrade pitted Primal against the Predacons, quite literally going ape on his enemies with these newfound powers. But just before he could take time to taste his victory and peace with the Maximals, Primal was once again taken captive within yet another Vox stronghold, ruled this time by his nemesis, Megatron. The Maximals, joined by the unlikely tarantulas, embarked on a mission to rescue him amidst complete chaos. While the battle between Megatron and Optimus was on, the latter managed to reduce the Vox weapon known as the Metal Hunter and the alien disc to bits. The Maximals suffered a series of losses: Aerozor, Tigatron, and Dinobot's horrific deaths, the destruction of Transmutate, and Megatron's acquisition of the powerful Rampage. However, hope arose with the realization that the transwarp wavefront formed by the destruction of the Planet Buster would bring Cybertron right to their position, thereby giving hope for a rescue. Help arrived quickly, but not in the form that they had expected. The reformed Ravage arrived to take Megatron into custody for his war crimes against the Pax Cybertonia. In the middle of that, Primal was forced to square off with his new recruit, Silverbolt, regarding his lethal friendship with the Black Arachnia. Primal helped Ravage subdue Megatron, but was double-crossed by the old Decepticon, allowing Megatron to escape to the Ark to kill Optimus Prime and rewrite history. He even manages to shoot Optimus Prime in the head. In a last resort attempt, Optimus Primal held Optimus Prime's spark inside himself temporarily to protect it until his body was repaired. Because of the extra spark's existence, a major change occurred to Primal, where his body underwent mutation and enlargement. This change gave him extra modes, like jet and ground vehicle configurations, besides his iconic gorilla form. Megatron mockingly called Primal's altered state Optimal Optimus, which has a nice ring to it, wouldn't you agree? Despite his newfound abilities, Primal could not stop the Predacons from unleashing chaos and destruction upon the Axalon. Optimus Prime's spark was finally restored to its original vehicle, bringing the timeline back to the status quo, but Primal himself was left as he was in his transformed state. As Megatron began to become increasingly desperate to put an end to the fighting, Primal resolved to get ready for the forthcoming upscaling of hostilities by bringing his Maximals inside the volcano that held the Ark. Even in a difficult defensive struggle, Primal's altered shape and increased weaponry still put the Maximals at a disadvantage. Their problems were worsened by the loss of Sentinel, their defense system. More intricacy was introduced with the appearance of the hostile depth charge and the turbulent development of Cheetor. Primal juggled the duty of protecting the proto-humans as well. Things became worse for them when Primal unintentionally assisted in stealing Megatron's spark, which led to the subsequent transportation into Megatron 2. More problems arose with the addition of the immortal Black Arachnia to their group and her impending transmetallization. Primal had to overcome a number of obstacles to cross a dangerous zone of conflict and uncertainty. Of course, this all changed with the Vox resurrection and the fusion of Aerozor and Tigatron into the mighty Tigerhawk, who obliterated the Predacons' base of operations. In the end, of course, Primal's side defeated Megatron's. The Predacon leader, now a captive, was strapped to the roof of a commandeered Autobot shuttle as the Maximals set off for home. As they eventually left the planet, paying tribute to their dead teammates, Optimus Primal declared the end of the Beast Wars, capping up the series with a triumphant moment for the Maximals. Beast Machines cartoon timeline explored. Following the conclusion of Beast Wars, the story continued into Beast Machines, which lasted for 2 seasons from 1999 to 2000. The animated series began right where Beast Wars left off, delving into the ongoing story of the Maximals and, more importantly, Optimus Primal. Almost immediately upon launching the spacecraft into transwarp space, Optimus Primal suddenly reverted to his original biological gorilla form. He was tossed into a precarious situation on a curiously abandoned Cybertron with no inkling of how he got there and was mercilessly pursued by an army of tank drones. Trapped by the relentless mechanical enemies, Primal tried to maximize, but his transmutation only brought him agonies of terror as electrical shocks and technological malfunctions damaged his body. Through the agility of his beast mode, he evaded their grasp for a minute until the Oracle showed him a brief view of an approaching monorail car. Leaping into the rail car, he found Rat Trap, who was infected with the Metamorphosis lock virus. Contrary to Rat Trap's suggestion of giving up their beast modes, another squadron of tank drones had closed in on them. When all seemed lost, Cheetor just happened to be in the right place at the right time to save Primal and Rat Trap. Again, Primal received a vision from the Oracle. Following the direction of the vision, they dived into a hole, which turned out to be a web spun by Black Arachnia. Weakened and reverted to her pre-trans metal form, Black Arachnia joined the others in their weakness. Using her webs, she helped Primal guide the crippled Maximals underground and into the ruins of old Cybertron. Unfortunately, Black Arachnia's web broke under their weight, not allowing them to continue. If things couldn't get any worse, they fell further and ended up in the mysterious underground levels of Cybertron. Looking in the darkness for answers, he tossed a scrap of metal into the void, thus unconsciously awakening the gargantuan and ancient Oracle. His companions watched as Primal went to the heart of the Oracle, who gave him a sequence of great visions and made the enigmatic statement, "The seeds of the future lie buried in the past." After this, Primal underwent a transformation process and emerged with a new techno-organic beast mode. Taking a cue from this, Primal encouraged the other ailing Maximals to get their own reformatting from the Oracle, but their progress was cut short when the Oracle suddenly disappeared, leaving them open to attack by an army of subterranean cycle drones. In the following chaos, Primal took the lead in finding out how to transform. He put his new abilities to use, navigating the dangerous surroundings. He dove into a ditch, flew effortlessly out, and grabbed the nearest drone for answers. In the subsequent battle, however, Primal's rage overwhelmed him, and he lost control of his focus, transforming into beast mode. After he perfected his metamorphosis, Primal set out to teach the other 3 Maximals the forgotten technique, emphasizing finding inner peace and a connection to their spiritual centers. While Cheetor and Black Arachnia succeeded almost immediately, Rat Trap's impatience led him to want rapid results, so Primal patiently counseled him. However, that was right when their training was interrupted by a mole drone attack, which broke Cheetor and Black Arachnia's focus, forcing them back into their beast personas. Primal leaped into action using the skills of his robot mode to repel the assailant and protect his teammates. The squad evacuated fast after the threat was neutralized. Their relief was short-lived, as Primal had to intervene once more as Cheetor and Black Arachnia came under attack by an aerodrone squadron. Primal wasted no time in saving his companions from danger. Soon they discovered the frightening reality. Megatron had also broken free during their transwarp voyage home and had landed on Cybertron much before them. He had captured the planet and planned a devious scheme to capture Primal and his crew, along with any other Transformers that happened to return to Cybertron. Soon after, Primal's team encountered Nightscream for the very first time. He was a Cybertronian in Bat mode who seemed to have achieved his beast state through a cave filled with Cybertronian fossils. He took them into an underground tree where Primal, Rat Trap, and Black Arachnia consumed the fruits, reverting to their primal states. Cheetor, on the other hand, was suspicious and did not take a bite, as he thought it was a trap laid down by Megatron. When Nightscream was damaged in a Viacon attack, Primal used a new talent granted by the Oracle, the ability to turn others into techno-organics. Primal first demonstrated this this ability on Nightscream, but the process weakened him badly. In his vulnerable state, Primal left Cheetor in charge as acting leader, charging him with taking command in his place. As our hero struggled with the burden of duty and the specter of past losses, Primal was tormented by thoughts of Rhinox and Silverbolt. Throughout the events that followed, Primal had a major character change by becoming much more attuned to his spiritual side than ever before, owing to his magical connection with the Oracle. It gave him visions and intuitive nudges that urged him to carry out the ideas of the Oracle. Due to the obscure nature of these visions, though, it confused Primal about their real meaning and how to carry them out. Misinterpreting the Oracle's intentions, Primal became radicalized. He believed he was supposed to purge Cybertron of all technology and started envisioning its complete transformation into an organic society. He had grown so absorbed in this apparent destiny that he even went to reformat a resistive Megatron. But now transformed into Tankor, Rhinox exploited Primal's dependence on the Oracle's visions. He shrewdly cut off Primal's link and abandoned him, lost in a drift in doubt. Before long, Primal stumbled upon a very important discovery: the plasma energy chamber, which is a device deadly to technological beings but harmless to organics. As Megatron readied to unleash the vector energy across the planet, Primal seized the opportunity to tap into the energy of the plasma energy chamber. In a bold and even reckless move to finally end Cybertron's techno-tyranny, Primal launched an effort to destroy all technological life, including the vector energy pulsar and Megatron himself. When the time came for the final cataclysmic battle, Primal's spirit left the physical world and plunged into the Matrix, the sacred afterlife of the Transformers. Primal was locked in the endless struggle against Megatron within the astral void, unable to rid himself of the nagging sense that this, in fact, was his destiny. The ghostly faces of his murdered friends, the Maximals, all lined up before him, damning him for being such a lousy leader and for leading them down this hazardous path in the first place. He was suddenly transported back to primordial Earth, where his red-eyed clone confronted and chastised him for being zealous. He found himself transported back to the Matrix dimension, where he beheld the collective sparks of Cybertron. While Primal underwent his spiritual journey, the other Maximals pressed onward into their downward journey, each keeping in contact with Primal through the Oracle's direction. Reluctant at first to take up the reins of leadership, Primal eventually accepted his mantle and rejoined his friends. In one moment of epiphany, he saw the forest of techno-organic trees bloom beneath him, understanding finally that he did not need to destroy technology, but to bring it into harmony, a personal epiphany, much like that of the Oracle's work upon him. In the battle for the sparks, the Maximals tried to grow an orchard around the Oracle, but with disappointing results as the plant started to wither away. Frustrated that all their hard work was for naught, Primal started to doubt. But fate intervened in the form of an alien shuttle crashing on the surface of Cybertron, which Primal followed with his team of Maximals to explore. They found biological life amidst the debris and were suddenly assaulted by an old plant creature. Unfazed in a risky move, Primal changed it into a techno-organic plant. However, the move worked for them. Introducing herself as Botanica, a fellow Maximal scientist, she tended to the ailing orchard of Flora, imbuing it with renewed energy and vigor, giving a new life to their mission. The Maximals peaked in the battle when they regained the lost sparks of the Transformers that Megatron had exiled. However, this was a short-lived success because Megatron spawned a lethal attack on their base very soon, foiling those plans. Now empowered with the Oracle, the Maximals destroyed the vast majority of the drones, but Megatron seized the few remaining squad members and took their sparks. Now alone, Optimus equipped himself with a new body based on his former optimal Optimus form and prepared for an epic battle with the rampaging Megatron. In the ultimate battle between Primal and Megatron, Optimus surrendered his life, plunging with Megatron into the core of Cybertron and ushering in the reformatting that brought the deactivated populace back to life and gave birth to the new techno-organic Cybertron. As the surviving Maximals gazed out over their new home, Primal and the Oracle spoke with Cheetor, and Primal left with the words "transform and transcend" as his spark joined the Matrix. This is where the Beast War saga ends, but this is not the last we see of Optimus Primal. The comic book backstory of Optimus Primal. Next, we witness Optimus Primal in the comic book series The Transformers Universe, which was produced by the official Transformers Collectors Club and debuted annually at the BotCon convention. It contained 3 main stories: The Wreckers, which was later retitled Universe Featuring the Wreckers in 2004, Primeval Dawn, which ran as a backup story to The Wreckers, and Universe, a standalone series which was connected to the Universe toy line. In this continuity, Unicron launched a surprise, devastating assault just as the denizens of post-Viacon Cybertron were getting used to their peaceful, techno-organic life brought about by Optimus Primal's sacrifice. There, Unicron had managed to summon numerous Transformers from across the multiverse to his twisted kingdom. Unwitting pawns in a battle with each other, these unfortunates functioned as energon radiation and sparks for Unicron's sinister use. Trapped between universes and weakened by some unknown conflict, Unicron sought to restore himself by draining the life force from his hostages. Deep inside Cybertron, Primus and Alpha Trion resurrected Optimus Primal and set him on a mission to liberate Unicron's prisoners. Once within the Chaos Bringer, he encountered friends in the shape of a Grimlock and even a Megatron from a different timeline. However, he became discolored by malevolent radiation, which harmed not only his body, but also his spark. Nonetheless, he was highly effective in his quest, defeating Unicron's minions and freeing scores of abductees. Once back on Cybertron, Primal was happy with his victory, but questioned whether his own resurrection would also result in Megatron's return. More urgently, though, he was unable to persuade the Maximal High Council that any of this was actually happening, so he ultimately turned to the dead for reinforcements. Primus provided him with a roster of fallen warriors, and he chose Rhinox and Depth Charge, who were to conduct more raids within Unicron while an orbital defense platform was being built above Cybertron. Since Depth Charge refused to engage in further violence, Alpha Trion took cue from Unicron and brought Omega Prime into their dimension to fight in his place. Following that, in 2005, Fun Publications assumed the responsibility of producing and publishing new comics for the Transformers franchise. The story continued with Optimus Primal leading Omega Prime and their forces, carrying out raids, even into Unicron's internal prison cities to free more prisoners. Primal then took a proactive position, sending teams dimension hopping beforehand to fortify defenses against Unicron's planned assaults before he's able to trap other victims. While they gathered more recruits for their cause, Primal and the veteran soldiers found themselves under the taint of Unicron's corrupting influence. Abducted and remade subjects of Unicron, those like Primal suffered while being subjected to Unicron's nanotech virus and radiation. To prevent his growing madness and eventual death, Primus stepped in to reformat Primal and several companions. Their new bodies were not only immune to the virus and radiation, but also contained the matrix of purification that could cleanse others of the taint of the Unicronian corruption. As time passed, the opposing armies grew in number, fighting battles reminiscent of the Great Wars. Cybertron had a short period of stability as the Culling, a massive invasion by Unicron's minions, raised the surface, harvesting sparks to feed the Chaos Bringer. Primal's troops fought them off, but in the confusion that followed, Primal's worst fears came true as Megatron re-emerged to take back the leadership of the Predacons and restore them to their former glory. However, in a twist of fate, Primal and Megatron eventually formed an alliance so that the two could better oppose their common enemy. Further raids freed thousands of hostages, leaving the minions on the verge of defeat. Then, in the final raiding party, as Primal and Omega Prime fought their way clear, Unicron mysteriously disappeared. The invaders teleported away immediately, but Omega Prime did not reappear with them. Overrun pulled him in mid-teleport to the Cybertron of the Unicron singularity responsible for the disappearance of Unicron. Presumably, Optimus Primal returned home safely, but this is not shown. Optimus Primal is featured in several storylines in Japanese animation continuity and manga. In one of the most famous storylines, Leo Jr. calls him through time to help Leo Convoy defeat Majin Sarah. Joining Optimus Primal's Matrix power with the power of Leo Convoy's enables the latter to combine and change into Burning Convoy. Want to know more? Let us know in the comments below. Optimus Primal in the silver screen. Optimus Primal was a protagonist who appeared in the live-action Transformers reboot film called Transformers: Rise of the Beast, which released last year. He assumed leadership of the Maximals, succeeding Ape and possessed the ability to transform into a western lowland gorilla. He also became Optimus Prime's ally later on. In the film, Optimus Primal was one of the Maximals living on a far-off jungle planet. When Unicron, the Terrorcons, and their Predacon drones invaded, Optimus Primal and a small band of Maximals fought their way through to reach their leader, Ape, the keeper of the transwarp key that let his race travel through time and space. Knowing that the Terrorcon leader, Scourge, intended to take the key for himself, Ape passed both command and the transwarp key onto Optimus. Using the key, Optimus led the surviving Maximals, Arizor, Cheetor, and Brinox, out of the way just in time before Unicron devoured their home. They traveled through space and time to prehistoric Earth, setting a new base in southern Peru. First hiding the transwarp key in a tomb, the Maximals soon bonded with the humans inhabiting the area and gave them the device. The Maximals and the humans together swore to defend life on Earth at all costs. After remaining hidden for millennia, the Maximals finally came out of hiding in the year 1994, when a series of events set in motion by the accidental uncovering of the Earthbound transwarp key brought a group of Autobots and their human friends, Noah Diaz and Elena Wallace, to the jungles of South America. Following a tense confrontation between them and Optimus Prime, diffused by Airazor, Primal agreed to aid them in recovering the second half of the key before the Terrorcons did. He led them to a local village where they encountered the key's present-day caretakers. After Airazor fell to Scourge's corrupting influence the following morning, the earlier exposure to his corrosive abilities enabled Primal to make the hard-nosed decision to put down his infected teammate during a brief battle. Unfortunately, this permitted Scourge to obtain both halves of the transwarp key, with which he was able to summon Unicron to Earth via a portal. Though Optimus Prime was able to kill Scourge and destroy the key, the collapsing transwarp portal drove Primal and his friends into a retreat. When Noah's effort to rescue Optimus Prime from the imploding portal appeared to falter, Primal arrived just in time to help the Autobot leader to safety. With the immediate danger dispatched, the three surviving Maximals chose to stay in Peru while the Autobots headed back to America. Before they went their separate ways, though, they allied themselves with humans in preparation for a possible future return by Unicron. The incarnation of Optimus Primal in Transformers: Rise of the Beasts is unlike what audiences have seen before, either in the toy form or in various animated interpretations. This new design adds depth to his character with many more intricate details while still holding on to the core character of Optimus Primal. His animal form in the movie is reminiscent of a gorilla, both in appearance and size, finding a middle ground between realism and exaggerated robotics. There is some flair for fur in the texture of his appearance, but the movie takes the integration of animalistic qualities with the very robotic feel typical of the Transformers franchise. Marvelous verdict. That brings us to the end of Optimus Primal's story. There's no doubt that Optimus Primal has left a certain kind of impression upon the Transformers universe, stealing our hearts with his bravery and undying determination. With every new adventure, fans are eager to see the next part of his journey and how he will proceed on inspiring and leading the fight to defeat evil. The series was rebooted last year, so we may hope to see more of this character on the big screen. Isn't that exciting? If you liked this video, remember to hit the like button and share this video with all your buddies. I will see you in the next one. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.